Angelina Ballerina, Angelina and the Smelly Cheese. Angelina Ballerina and her friends are getting ready for a big celebration at Mr. Mouseling's shop. Mr. Mouseling is hosting La Fete Francais, the French festival. Everyone in Chipping Cheddar is invited. Angelina and her friends are going to perform a French song. "Which song are we singing, Angelina?" asked Alice. "Fair Jacks," says Angelina. The Mouselings start to rehearse when all of a sudden, "Ew," says Vicky, covering her nose. "That's disgusting," says AJ. "What's that smell?" says Alice. "I don't know, but it's horrible," says Angelina. "It smells like rotting vegetables," says Alice. "Or stinky socks," says AJ. "Yuck." The Mouselings are completely distracted by the awful smell. What could it possibly be? "I know something smells bad, but we still have to practice our song," says Alice. The Mouselings start their rehearsal again. But the smell becomes even worse. Mrs. Thimble walks past. "Hello, Mouselings," she says. The smell is coming from her basket. She walks into Mr. Mouseling's shop. "Ah, Mrs. Thimble, how can I help you?" asks Mr. Mouseling, trying not to cover his nose. Mrs. Thimble proudly presents a slice of very smelly cheese. "I brought French Roquefort cheese for La Fete Francais. I made it with my own 2 paws," says Mrs. Thimble proudly. "Everyone thinks the cheese smells terrible. We can't let Mrs. Thimble serve the cheese at La Fete Francais," says Angelina to her dad. "The smell will drive everyone away." "You're right, but we don't want to hurt Mrs. Thimble's feelings." The Mouselings come up with a plan. "Maybe we could get her to serve something else instead," says Alice. They all agree this is a great idea. The friends take a French recipe book to Mrs. Thimble's shop. "As you're so good at making French food, we thought you'd like to try some other French recipes," she says. Mrs. Thimble is delighted. "These recipes are lovely. They will be even better with some of my Roquefort cheese on top," she says. Oh dear, the Mouselings will need another idea to stop Mrs. Thimble serving her cheese. The friends decide to put their money together to buy up all the cheese. Then Mrs. Thimble won't have any left to serve at the fete. When they ask to buy all her cheese, Mrs. Thimble is delighted. She gives them the whole lot for free. And I still have time to make a new batch for the festival. Outside the shop, the Mouselings hold a smelly basket full of cheese. "There's got to be something we can do to stop Mrs. Thimble from bringing it to the fete," says Angelina. "Maybe we could hide it," says Gracie. "Bury it," suggests AJ. "Spray it with perfume," says Alice. In the end, they decide they will have to tell Mrs. Thimble the truth. Her cheese is just too smelly. "But won't that hurt her feelings?" asks AJ. "We could say it nicely," says Alice. Angelina goes and talks to Mrs. Thimble. "We all think it's so nice of you to make your special Roquefort cheese for the fete, but the rest of us find it a little strong smelling," says Angelina nervously. "How can anyone not like Roquefort cheese? Especially mine," says Mrs. Thimble, a little offended. "We didn't want to hurt your feelings," says Angelina. "Maybe you could try making another cheese." At the fete, Mrs. Thimble serves a delicious camembert. This cheese tastes so good," says Angelina. "Thank you, Angelina," says Mrs. Thimble. And thank you for your honesty. I'm glad I didn't serve a cheese that no one likes. The festival is a huge success and Mrs. Timble happily sells all of her delicious camemberts. I'm going to color the cherries.